Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti. Overwhelmed by the form, Arjuna starts rattling off very many words, very many praises, and he is scared. And there are people who are, when they get scared, they talk more. And there are people who get scared, they go silent. So, people have their own ways of manifesting that fear. Now, Arjuna is so scared, and his fear has slowly transformed into the Bhakti Bhavana. And in that Bhakti Bhavana, he starts expressing so many things that he heard earlier. He has known about God. All the words that he knew earlier, everything from his memory comes out now. You are that Purana Purusha. You are that primeval God. You are that Param Nidhanam. You are the supreme abode of this universe. Now, he doesn't understand that and he's speaking. Remember that. See, that's what we've been telling you. There is a difference between Upanishadic student and Arjuna. And please understand, you don't fall into the category of Arjuna, as many of us, keep talking today. So it's a very, casually we say in the public lectures, we casually say, Arjuna represents all of us. No, you are not a sample. You see, you are not the right sample for that. Every Rasgulla doesn't become Kesidas Rasgulla, no. Isn't it? You're also Rasgulla only, correct? In terms of species, if you take, yes, Arjuna also a human being, we are also a human being. But that doesn't mean we belong to the same category. Same way here, Arjuna is of a different type. How do we know? Arjuna is not belonging to the Upanishadic caliber student. Upanishadic caliber student would have asked him a fundamental question when Krishna started off his lectures. Time and again, in the beginning of the lectures itself, Krishna told Arjuna that the self is immaculate, imperishable. Atma is imperishable. Now, what is Upanishadic student would have told him? Excuse me, wait. I know body is perishable. You don't require a Mahatma to come and tell you body is perishable. Isn't it? 10-year-old child knows everyone who is born will die. The problem is not that. The problem is suddenly when he says, this is imperishable, Arjuna should have asked him the question, hey Krishna, how are you saying the self is imperishable? That question is nowhere asked in the Gita. Arjuna never asks that. That's an Upanishadic student. We are all which categories? We don't belong to Arjuna category also. We are one step below Arjuna. We study Bhagavad Gita to be solving our worldly problems. how Bhagavad Gita can be used to address management issues. Because your problem is how to manage your company. If you successfully manage your company, you mess with your life. Personal life is a mess. If your personal life is okay, then social life is a mess. Somewhere you messed up your life. Arjuna is not coming from that background, remember. Arjuna's life was from in all dimensions perfect. 10 minutes before the battle beginning, if someone would have told Arjuna, in another 10 minutes down the line, you are going to collapse, you would have laughed at him, said, what nonsense you are talking? Are you mad? To who you are speaking, do you know? He used to say those days, US written. Arjuna is heaven written. Right? It's not that you just go to US and come back. He is being invited by the president. Under president's invitation, he went. Like that, Indira invited Arjuna. Under the invitation of Indira, he went to the heaven. Not like, standing in the visa, overnight you have to stand in the queue there. Then with all sorts of, uncertainty, finally, visa approved. Even then, no, there is no guarantee that you will get an entry when you reach there. His point is not that. He went straight to heaven. Imagine what sort of a personality that would be. Right? It's not that Arjuna is equal to us, but definitely we say he is not equal to the Upanishadic student as well. But he is a learned person. He must have attended Vedanta classes a lot. Right? So he is simply repeating all those words. You are that knowing principle. You are to be known. Then what the heaven you have been doing all these days? You are the one which is supposed to, like a lot of us say, life's mission. What's your life mission? I want to realize the self. Like that he is saying. There's no meaning to the statement. Use that statement because someone told you. Mission is to realize the self. Therefore, you also keep repeating that. 10 times you hear that. Every Sunday morning you keep hearing it again and again and again. It will just get brainwashed. You will start believing in that. It's as simple as that. Anything gets repeated mechanically, gets into your belief system. You would start believing in that. Same way, he says, you are that to be known. You are the Veda, you are that knowing principle. Not only you are the knowing principle, you are the knower. You are the one who is supposed to be known also. He's speaking Advaita here. If Shankara hears these words, he will definitely believe Arjuna to be a realized soul. Why? Because he is making a fascinating statement here. Always the knower and the known will be two different things. The seer and the seen can never be one and the same, isn't it? I am seeing my computer screen. The screen is seen, I am the seer. So who is seeing? I am seeing. What is seen? The screen. The screen and the eye, which is seeing, can never become one and the same. Now suddenly Arjuna says here, you are the knower and also to be known. You are the one actually to be known actually. Rest are all not. Rest of the knowledges are all useless. Real knowledge is knowledge of yours only, the real knowledge is. Therefore, what he is saying, you are the known, you are the knower. Classic Advaita. Right? He speaks classic Advaita philosophy. Anandam, you are the supreme goal beyond the reach of the equipments. The goals that we are all pursuing in the world belongs to the physical achievements. That are achievements you wanted to get at the physical level. Now it is New Year, no? Everyone will take a resolution. What? This year I am going to become fit. You may achieve, you may not achieve. That's not my point. You may work on it, you may not work on it. That's not the point. The point is your vision itself is only at the physical level, full stop. The final goal itself is physical. Some people will go slightly beyond that and say at the emotional level, at least in this year, I should separate this relationship. There is a problem in the relationship. Sir, one couple was telling me this. The 2023, our New Year resolution, couple resolution, that is, there is a strain in our relationship. We are going to set it right. This is our goal. There is another person who calls and says, sir, I wanted to have a goal. What is a goal? What is to be achieved in life? I've read all these things, but I have not read that, Panchadashi I have not studied. Do you take Panchadashi? Mandukya Karika, no, I have not read. Mundaka Upanishad I have heard. Yes, yeah, I was there for the lectures. Fascinating, very good lectures that was. But I have not heard this Mandukya Karika. Nobody is taking that Mandukya Karika these days. So, do you teach Mandukya Karika? I'll come to your house, not online. You don't have to come to my house also. I will come to your house. So 2023, what is the resolution? Goal. Like that, you have goals in life, Very many goals are there. He says, of all the goals that is possible, is the highest goal that you can have is what? Not winning that Kurukshetra war. What is it? It's Ramdhamar. You are that supreme one to be. By you is the universe pervaded. By you. Vayatatam. Vayatatam is this, that this whole thing is pervaded. Whole thing is filled with you. See, here there are two ways of filling up. One is the room is filled with air. This is one way of filling. Then there is another way of filling, where we say the gold is filled, the ornament is filled with gold. They are not the one and the same. There is a difference. So here, in which way he says? He says in the form of the second one. Like how the gold is pervading the universe. The room also is filled with light. Every nook and corner of the room, there is a light. Once we switch on, like everywhere it is. Once the sun comes up, the light is everywhere. Just start to pull the screen. Everywhere it is. But then it's not the same, we say. What is that difference? Air is different from the room. There is a difference. But here, in that, ornament and gold cannot be separated. You cannot say, sir, keep that ornament one side, gold one side. I want to see. you can see only gold side. You can never see the ornament side. Why? Because ornaments are nothing but names and forms. It's just a nama rupa. There is no existential reality to it. What is the existential reality is only the gold. Gold is a reality. You call something in one form, you call it as bangle, in another form, you call it as what is that? Earrings. Another form, you call it as nose ring. Another form, you call it as a necklace. Another form, you call it as anklet. This you can give very many names to it, very many designs to it, but all that is not the reality. The reality is only gold. Various shapes of the pots. It's just a nama rupa. But what is the reality there is only the clay. What is there actually existing is only clay. Same way here. By you is the universe pervaded. We ask the question immediately. Is this in the first case or in the second case? Like air filling the one or gold filling the ornament. There we come to a conclusion. No, sir, it is not in this form, it is in this form. It is in the form of gold pervading the ornaments. Ananta Rupa. Because it's not a static picture. Remember, I told you, it's a live universal form he's seeing. So when he's seeing that Vishwarupa live, it's not a static one. It is dynamically changing. Every second it is changing, like the patterns in that kaleidoscope. Kaleidoscopic patterns. It's for all purpose, the probability of repeat of the pattern in the inside that kaleidoscope. What is it? Almost impossible. You can never get that same pattern again. Every second, the pattern keeps changing. Why? Because you are holding it. However steady you hold, that slight vibration is enough for it to change. Keeps changing, keeps changing. It's fascinating to see that kaleidoscope. That's what life is. And he is seeing that in totality right now in front of him. He's seeing that form. So he says, all this is to be known, and you are the knower. See, technically we give an example for this. One is the knower, known is, seen seer. Drik Drishya Viveka is referred as. Now what we give is your own experience of dream. Right? You dream. The dreamer is one fiber of your thought. The dream tiger that is chasing you is a fiber of your thought only. Isn't it? Both are your form only. One thought becomes a dreamer, another thought becomes a dream tiger. And the dream tiger is chasing the dreamer. So one thought is chasing another thought. This thought is getting scared of that thought. And then you scream and wake up. Now, are they two or one? Is the dreamer and the dream tiger one and the same or two different things? What is the best thing for the dreamer to be doing in his life? What is the knowledge that he should seek? What is understanding that the dreamer should have? That's what he is saying. Vedyam means that the dreamer should have the knowledge of what? It's a dream. But the tragedy of life is the dreamer will never call it as a dream. Who will call that as a dream? Only a waker will call it as a dream. For a dreamer, it's not a dream. Only for the waker, it is a dream. Now, Arjuna, is he a dreamer or waker? If dreamer starts claiming it is one and the same, it's exactly like saying the truck that is heading towards me and my scooty are one and the same. So what I should do? Go and hit or allow them to hit me? Same thing, no? This is where people got confused. They said, the world is illusion, Maya. They said these people got really worked up. So one word to, irritate anyone in the world. All that you have to say is Maya. That's enough. People get so annoyed. How can you say this? The person who is in the dream cannot afford to take a stand that it is just a dream. Not possible. Upon waking up alone, he is qualified to take that stand. Without qualification, if you take a stand, what is in money, sir? Nothing is mine. This is the last time I met that fellow in my life. This is the last meeting I had with him. I met to see him. What is life? Nothing is there. Oh, nothing is mine. All money is just waste of time, just pursuing money. Waste. I heard 2-3 times and then I got really, irritated. I said, you are not interested in money, no? I said, no, what is that? Nothing is there. I said, tomorrow we are going to the registration department. Transfer all your property in my name. I didn't say in his son's name. Daughter's name, no. I said, transfer it in my name. That's the last meeting I had with him. He said, you are you qualified to take a stand? He who steals my purse steals trash. Says Shakespeare. But can you take the stand? It's just a trash. What is there in my purse is just a trash. Waste. When you cannot, you better be aware of this. So please recognize the stand here. Even though Arjuna speaks such lofty ideas, it's not coming from his understanding, or what we call as it's not coming from his being. It is coming out of his memory. There is a difference between the words coming from a person, which is what a layman would call it as you got to speak from your heart. You say, what is the meaning? It's just symbolic, remember. It's not that you got to speak emotionally. That's not what is referred to. You have to speak from the depth of your understanding. From the depth of your understanding, where that knowledge has become part of you, where the knower and the known has become one. Now there is no difference. Such a person can take a stand like this and say, yes, it is just a dream. Till that time, you don't jump in. Now, Arjuna is simply repeating all this. So don't take his words very seriously, right? As though he has actually understood. Of course, one thing we need to recognize here about Arjuna's position. Arjuna has understood two things. In the 11th chapter, what is the position of Arjuna is Arjuna has understood the greatness of Krishna, and also he has understood the nature of Krishna. His Swarupa he has understood, his Prabhava also he has understood. His Prabhavams is here he has got, his greatness. Many times we understand the nature of a person, but many times we miss the greatness of a person. Sometimes we know the greatness of the person, how big, how smart, how great he is or she is. But we don't understand what is the real nature of them. Arjuna saying here is, he says, I have that understanding of both. That's what he's establishing here. Why he is, what is uniqueness about Arjuna's description is, when you have that bhaya, with that you should gain knowledge also, I said. When bhaya coupled with understanding, transformation happens. That transformed bhava is called as bhakti, devotion or surrender. Now Arjuna is establishing the fact that he has understood. What is it that he has understood? If he has understood only greatness, how big he is, how great he is, how superior he is, only his fear will be mounting. See, more and more you see the greatness of someone alone. Now immediately what we have started doing is we have started digging into the person to find some fault in them, to compensate. This is the effort is going on these days. You talk about any great man, immediately our focus goes to what? No, he's not such a great person, sir. He is also having certain bad things. You know, how great he is. You know, what is the greatness of Rama? The greatness of Rama. He is hiding behind the tree and hitting Wali. What about that? Right. The discussion that we have had, you just see, the debates that has gone to discuss this episode vis-a-vis Rama quietly leaving the palace. Rama never asked Dasharatha, when are you going to make me a king? He never asked. Previous day evening, he was called to the assembly, where he was told in front of everyone that you are going to become the king. You are going to become CEO of the company. Next day morning, he was told, not only you are not this, you are debarred from working in any company for the rest of your life. Imagine that. You are not only taken out, you are not only said, you are not going to be the CEO of this company, you are debarred from doing any other thing also. Let's say they said, go to forest for 14 years. How much of discussion you have heard about this part of it? Huh? I'm talking about current one. Don't say only immediately Tulsidas did that and all that. Okay. Tulsidas did, that Tyagaraja did, and all that is not the current debates. Currently, people wanted to read. Do you realize, of late, the fascination towards Mahabharata has increased? than fascination towards Ramayana? At least the so-called intellectual lobbies. Rama's life is straightforward, sir. There's nothing interesting about his life. What? Rama is a book person. That's it. He just follows the book. You don't know anything about the book. You don't know anything about Rama. Simply say, Krishna is not like that. Who told you? On what basis? No discussions. We are not able to digest greatness today. This is the tragedy of humanity today. If someone is praised in front of you, you cannot take it. You just go to a friend's house, you praise the cooking of a friend's wife. Your wife will never appreciate it. You will say, no, something is fault in that cooking. Vada, this is not the way to make vada, You should have, you should have allowed that to, grind a little more. It is not grinded properly. Idli. This is not the way to, the proportion, is wrong. I think, they have left it for this one for more time. The fermentation didn't happen properly. This something or the other you have to say. Or at least the size you have to say. The idli, see, idli size means, it should be of a good size. There's a popular idli, which I go every time I go to Chennai. There are 2-3 things I don't miss. One is this Kushbu idli. There's a place in Thiruvanmiyur. A person sells Kushbu idli, very popular. Idli means that should be like that. This is not idli. That is. You can't just take today. When you are seeing only greatness, remember there is a danger. So what you have to do, along with greatness, you have to understand the Swarupa, nature also. What is the essence there? Right. Now, Arjuna is speaking 2 things here, remember. He is speaking the greatness of Krishna, all real nature of Krishna as Ishvara. He is able to understand the Swarupa also. So that's why he is eloquently speaking. So that eloquence is because of this. Because he is speaking these 2 together. So the eloquence. Verse 39.
वायुर्यमोऽग्निर्वरुणः शशाङ्कः प्रजापतिस्त्वं प्रपितामहश्च नमो नमस्तेऽस्तु सहस्रकृत्वः पुनश्च भूयोऽपि नमो नमस्ते वायुर्यमोऽग्निर्वरुणः शशाङ्कः प्रजापतिस्त्वं प्रपितामहश्च नमो नमस्तेऽस्तु सहस्रकृत्वः पुनश्च भूयोऽपि नमो नमस्ते.
You are Vayu, wind god. Yama, god of death. Agni, fire god. Varuna, sea god. Shashanka, moon. Prajapati, Brahma, creator. And great-grandfather. Prapitamaha. Pitamaha, grandfather. Prapitamaha is great-grandfather. Grandfather's father. Great-grandfather. Salutation. Salutation to you 1,000 times, again and again salutation. Salutation to you. Yes. Namaha. Namaha. How many times? 1,000 times. Is 1,000 times enough? No. 1,000 times again and again. So every time he does namaskara, he will do 1,000 times. Like that, how many times he will do? Again and again he will do. One round. One round of namaskara he will do. How many times now? 1,000 times. Oh, like that, how many rounds he will do? Again and again he will go on doing. And he says, that much he has to do, he says. Great-grandfather. Now, all these are all, very many gods. Now, you're all familiar with these gods' names and all that. So I don't want to go into the details of that. That Vayu is a wind god. What is this Yama? What is this Varna? Shashanka, I don't know how many of you know. It's another name of Chandra, moon god. Then Prajapati, creator. And then Prapitamaha. This is interesting point. This is what I was talking about as the Swarupa. Yes, you are the Deva Deva. You are God's God, he said earlier. Now he says, you are not only God's God, you are that God also. You are the one who is standing as Yama, you are the one who is standing as Vayu, you are the one who is standing as Chandra, you are the one who is standing as Prajapati, you are the one. Oh. Then he says, no, you are even beyond them. That's why he puts it as Prapitamaha. You are that Prapitamaha also. You are greater than all these people. All these gods were all created by Brahma. And who created Brahma? Is Vishnu. This is Puranic style. Puranic way of understanding it is story form. It is given as a story form for all of us. It is easy. So what has happened? Vishnu created Brahma, and Brahma created all these people. And all of us also, and the world also. Everything was created by Brahma. So if we were to be taking the cause, if we are the effect, who is the cause? Brahma is the cause. Brahma is the creator. Brahma is the father. Or if you take it as little more, if you go, Brahma is the grandfather. Direct cause. No, he is not the direct cause. He is the indirect cause. Right. Then we have from where Brahma came, from Vishnu. So direct cause, and then there is indirect cause, and then there is something beyond that cause also. Beyond the direct and indirect cause. Direct cause of my birth is my father. Indirect cause of my birth is my grandfather. Beyond grandfather is great-grandfather. Right? Same equation here. This is why we say those who come to study Bhagavad Gita should have some background knowledge. We say. Keep repeating that. Tell people this is a little advanced text. So if you want to really cherish these terms, these verses, you should have this knowledge in the background. So who is protecting all of us today in this world is all these devas. All these devas were the one who are protecting us. So who is protecting them? Who has given them the power to protect? Is Brahma. So Brahma is more powerful than these people, because every time when they have a problem, the first person they all approach is Brahma. Brahma is a person they go to. In the Puranas, you will see that. Every time this devas, the rishis, Narada, anybody has a problem, straight they will go to Brahma. Then Brahma will decide whom to approach. Sometimes Brahmaji will decide we will go to Shiva. Sometimes Brahmaji will decide let's go to Vishnu. Sometimes Brahmaji will say we will go to Shakti. Sometimes he will say go here. Sometimes he will say this. Sometimes he will say do that. Sometimes he will say go and surrender to some rishi. Go and ask a rishi. Go and do this yajna. Do this tapas. You go to him with a problem, he will give a solution. So the one who has that's why we say he is knowledgeable person he is. That's why he is wedded to Saraswati. The one who is supposed to be providing solutions. And then execution happens. Depending upon whatever the solution is. Here. These Vayus, this Varuna, this, all these gods, all these devas, were our fathers protecting. The one who gives protection to them is Brahma. He says, you are even greater than that. Why? You are Vishnu. You are one step above. This is Puranic way. Right? This is devotional way of understanding. As a story form, which is easier for us to visualize first. Okay. But then don't stop there. That visualizations were all nothing but a particular idea solidified, personified. So we have derived certain ideas. Those ideas were given a personification, a solid form. So what is the idea? The idea is you should know what is your direct cause. Direct cause of your birth. Then there is an indirect cause of your birth. Then there is something which is beyond the direct and the indirect, which is known as causeless cause. Now you are that Prapitamaha. And he says, he is referring to Krishna as the causeless cause of creation. You are not the direct, you are not indirect also. You are beyond all that. So such a nature of yours, such a big person you are, now we connect with our basic idea. What is that? I said already that Arjuna goes on repeating in every verse two points you will find. In every description of this, you will find these 2 points. He will establish how great Krishna is. Also, he will establish what is his real nature. Now, if you stop only at Krishna's greatness, you are finished. Either you will get fanatic or you will get fearful. Either case, you don't evolve. You don't outgrow. Now, if you keep only at Swarupa and not see the greatness, then you will be just having as a professor knowledge. Academical excellence of Vedanta philosophy you will have. Right? I keep giving these examples to you people. Many times I have given this. Standard example of mine. A person can talk, explain illusions in the class. After the class period is over, he will go out and stand in the lawn and shout slogans for increase of payment. This is what we say. If you have only Swarupa Jnana, if you just have only that Swarupa Jnana, you are in trouble. What is the trouble, sir? You will just keep it as a sheer intellectual entertainment. What Vivekananda calls as intellectual gymnastics. He says, fellows with the scriptures, what are you guys doing in the name of studying the scriptures? Is doing intellectual gymnastics. Now that he has understood the greatness and the Swarupa, nature, coupled together, this bhakti has come in. What is the classical mark of bhakti? Is the second line. In the first line, he says, you are Vayu, you are Yama, you are Shashanka, Prajapati, great grandfather, all that. This is one aspect of it. Then the second aspect is you have to connect this to 38, 37, 36 and all that. Okay, from 35 you have to start. 36 he actually starts. Goes to 36, 37, 38 and 39 first line. All that together. What is it, sir? In gist, he is talking about the greatness and nature of Krishna. Brahman, God, or you put it as God. What is the greatness of God and what is the real nature of God? Having known all those things, what should be happening? We say he has developed bhakti. Now we need to establish what is the classic expression of bhakti. Now in this line is where he gives the classic expression. All that he says is salutation. I just repeat. Salutation. Salutation to you 1,000 times. Salutation. Salutation to you. How many salutations comes? 4 times he is repeating the same word. Namaha, 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 Namaha. 4 times in 2 lines. Salutation, 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 salutation. Again and again and again. What is that? This is the catchphrase. This is where we get certain clues. These people don't teach directly. Best of things are not taught direct. It's all indirectly they teach us. Knowledge is given more indirect manner. Salutation means prostration. I prostrate to you. Pranams. This again and again means wherever there is this emotion, identification, bhakti, love, affection, if you have it, you will feel within yourself one thing. How much ever you do something for the other person, you never feel you have done enough. This is called love, affection, identification. If that love were to be towards a higher, we call it as devotion. That's all. If you are having that identification, if you have this feeling, what is the feeling, sir? How much ever I do to the other person, I have never felt that I have done enough. You have given everything that you have, but still you feel nothing compared here. Not enough. Now you look at all your relationships. Do you have a single relationship like that in your life? That's why we say you don't have love, you have only attachment. Because every time we ask this, how many years, sir? Only I have to keep doing it. So what is our understanding? If I have done 5 times, you have to do 2 times at least. Why? 5 is enough. Is 50? Now, in those days, people used to have it for 5,000 times. After that, only this resentment, the crippling will start. Now it is starting at what? With 50 itself, it starts. Not 50 years. And the next generation is going to be 5. After 5 days, they say, I don't think, we can't get along with each other. We cannot get along with each other. What is that you cannot get along? How you people are living? Frustrated life, no? Instead of living a frustrated life, it is better to leave and walk out. That's even better, sir. I'm not saying, you divorce or you don't divorce. That's not my point. I'm not saying you should live with a frustrated life also. Why? From where it is coming is my point. And then we keep claiming each other, I love you, I love you, I love you. What I love you? No? I love you. What I love you? And love is still an emptier sound, modern fair one's jest. Unknown on earth are found only to warm the turtle's nest. Oliver Goldsmith. Beautiful statement of this. And love is still an emptier sound, empty sound. Why he calls empty is because of this. Do you have this feeling that how much ever I do, I am not satisfied? What more? What else can be done from my side? Is the feeling you should have. Our problem is 1 or 2 things you do here and there for the other person. Immediately you start feeling what? What a great service I have done. And if at all you claim you have done nothing, you talk about strangers only. You never talk about it with reference to your near and dear ones within. That's why he says, charity begins at home. All your charity is practiced with reference to strangers. The ability you have to register your identification with a stranger seems to be far more compared to someone who is close to you. Why you are not able to see here? Because your problem is what? I have done enough from my side, sir. You wouldn't have done so much. People come and tell me, this is the argument. Every time people come to me for advice, they give me advice and go. You don't do so much to your wife. I have done to my wife more than that. I say yes. But then the problem is what? Do you have that feeling? Identification, love means to feel dissatisfied with how much ever you have done to the other person. And that's why he says, salutation to you 1,000 times, again and again. Again and again, 1,000 times. Salutations to you. Salutations to you. It's a fascinating idea. This is the proof of bhakti in Arjuna. There's no other proof we have. From the statement, we understand this. Now, how you see, each one have their own way of expression. Remember that. Okay. The way a love is expressed about 500 years back is not the way love is expressed today. Isn't it? The love is expressed in a very different fashion. In every culture had a different way of expressing their love, their concern, their affection. It's not that every culture had the same form of expression. Every culture has their own way of doing it. One person says you can walk in with the shoes, but you have to remove your hat. When you enter a church, you remove your cap. But walk in with the shoes. Right. In a Hindu temple, how do you go? That too only South Indian side. Right? That's why South Indians go to North India. No, they cannot believe that fellow to be a priest. The South Indian Brahmin were to go and see a North Indian priest. He will think North Indian priest is lower. He is coming with a monkey cap, this, that, and all that, fully dressed. Is this the way to do it? This is not the way. That's the way to do. Here itself, there's a difference. People go and do perform, this Shraddham and all. In Gaya, they go all the way. This fellow goes to Gaya Shraddha, if you go. And he goes there. And the priest is asking them to do Shraddham there. This is the way you do. And our fellows, no, this is not the way we do in our town. In Kumbakonam, we don't do like that. In Kumbakonam, we don't do like that. In Gaya, this is how it is done. And for us, we'll never get the satisfaction that we have done this ceremony at all. It looks weird. It varies. Expressions will vary, remember. Expressions, the manifestation of that bhakti varies from stage to stage, culture to culture, period to period. It keeps changing. Now, we are not talking about that. Focus is more with reference to what is behind it, the bhavana behind it, the feeling behind it. The feeling is constant. It's the same devotion. The person who enters the temple has is the same devotion a Christian will feel when he is going to church. When you go to church, what do you feel? You don't feel the divinity there. Don't say, I feel divinity everywhere, sir. Then you are sitting in the wrong class. You are wasting your time, attending my class. Because you are already there. It's like, when you are doing PhD, why do you come and sit in, 12th standard class? You say, no, I attend, 12th standard portion is very interesting, It's so exciting for us to read. I've seen people reading all the, school books after retirement. I think one of my, relative, I go to their house, he is having 10th standard maths book. I said, Mama, what are you doing with 10th standard? Tuition I asked, just to read, very interesting to read. After retirement, if you say 10th standard mathematics book is interesting for you to read, that means when you are in 10th standard, you did not study that properly. That's what it means. If you have studied 10th standard mathematics properly, you will not get inspired reading 10th standard. It is not possible. You will never get it. After going to the higher, the lower can never excite you, can never interest you. If it still interests you, you have never been to the higher. That's what it means. You don't know the higher. That's a law of life. Nobody can change it. So here he says, Namaha, prostrations. Now this is the expression part of it, remember. Salutations is an expression part of it. That doesn't mean all of us have to keep doing prostrating. We keep on prostrating, and then walk out. Appada, sir, that's a good exercise also, People say, why are you wasting your time going around that, park? Do the same thing, temple, no? In fact, one fellow gave this beautiful explanation. It's far good, because we walk on the stone, barefoot. Very good acupressure, sir. It's good acupressure one, for us to walk. It's much, much better than walking with your, best of shoes you can have and walk. Nothing. But walking on this. That is why temples were made in those days. Right? If, Rajaraja Sola or those, Shankara and all were to hear this explanation, cannot be like that, remember. The expressions will vary from person to person, from culture to culture. Arjuna's culture, Arjuna's training was salutations. So don't take it as literally salutation, salutation, salutation. No. What it means is, what is that which is expressing that way, sir. It's that bhavana. What is the bhavana? The feeling. Why it is expressing like this, sir? Anything is done, not enough. That's why he says, Ahasra, again and again. How many times? 1,000 times. Repeating that. So retain that spirit. That spirit of bhakti you retain. You can afford to miss the manifestations. That's okay. That is not necessary. Manifestation also to be in the same fashion. 40.
Namah purastadath prishthatasте Namostu te sarvata eva sarva Ananta viryamita vikramastvam Sarvam samapnoshi tatosi sarvaha Namah purastadath prishthatasте Namostu te sarvata eva sarva Ananta viryamita vikramastvam Sarvam samapnoshi tatosi sarvaha.
Continuing. Salutation to you before and behind. Indeed, salutation to you on all sides. O all, infinite in power, infinite in strength, you complete all. Therefore, you are all. Sarvahasi. You are all. You are everything. To you, salutations before, because usually, when you say salutation, where do you do pranams? In front, no. In the front only you do pranams. When you go and do pranams to somebody, salutations. When you prostrate, you do that in the front of the person. He says, I am doing it to you in the front. I am doing it to you behind also. Very interesting. Have you ever seen anyone doing prostration behind? Huh? Why does he say that? Parastat, before you. And Prashtata, behind. Prashta is behind. Before you and behind you. What he's saying is, my bhakti will not change in front of you or behind you. That's what he says. The way we speak about people in front of them, vis-a-vis, we speak about them in their absence. That's what one of my friend's father gave me this advice sometimes back. When I was talking about somebody in the school, that fellow is doing, what that fellow is doing. He came in, hey, why are you speaking like this? Then I asked him, how do you want me to speak? You speak about him. He didn't say that, don't talk about him. But you speak about him as though he is sitting in the next room, overhearing whatever you are speaking. Imagine that fellow were to be in the next room. How you will talk about him? Roomல இருந்தா எப்படி பேசுவியோ அப்படி பேசி பார்ப்போம். I said, what? That was a very strong message. I was really shocked. Is there a possibility to think like that also? Now it is looking very casual for us, but then at that time it was a very big revelation to me to learn to speak about those who are absent also as though they were in the next room. They are not sitting in front of you. That's where I really like that advice of his. Said is sitting in the next room. The person who is sitting in the next room, I talk here. They are not going to hear that. Not that they are not going to hear it. Something they will hear. It's not that it is absolutely shut. Few things they will hear. From those 2-3 sentences, 2-3 words they hear here and there, they fill the gap and understand things as how I am talking about them. Based on that, they will have an opinion about me. He said, character na apdi irukonu that. You should have a good character. How do you have a good character? He said, how do you build it? This is one of the fascinating way of building it. That's why he says, from before, in front of you, and even behind you. Krishna, I am not praising you in front of you alone. I keep praising you in your absence also. Salutations to you on all sides, not only front and back, in all directions, because he is everywhere. He is everywhere he is. He is now is a proof that he is not a technically trained like Upanishadic student. See, this is where he shows his level. That's it. There are very great Ranji Trophy players. At the Ranji Trophy level, they are superb, in fact. But you put them at the international one, they buckle. At the Ranji Trophy level, they are very good. And there are very good people who are at the zone level. Ranji Trophy, you go, national level, you go, fail. And there are people who are excellent in university level, college level. So like that, there are people, same way here. Arjuna has his own level. He doesn't fly high. What is a proof? Next statement is a proof. Next word itself, straight away he moves into Anantavirya. Straight away he says, you are having this Anantavirya, infinite power. Sarva, all, everything. You are everything. You are of infinite power. Now we have told this several times. Knowledge always proceeds from known to the unknown. Any amount of unknown can never communicate, can never give you the knowledge of another unknown. Unknown factor cannot give you the knowledge of another unknown factor. God is unknown to us. Sarvam is also unknown to us. The word Sarvam, literal meaning of the word we'll know. What? All. What do you mean by all? Sarvam. All. All means all, sir, everything. Do you understand anything out of that? Infinite. The moment you use the word infinite, it is incomprehensible. And he says, you are of infinite power, infinite strength. Not only infinite power you have infinite strength also. Virya, potential and manifested. Both levels it is infinite. But infinity is unknown. No one can understand. Infinite. So what is the point of using such words? This is what we said. Arjuna is just using the words without realizing what he is speaking about. Upanishadic students don't use such words. In fact, Upanishad masters themselves don't use such words. Why? Because they know the principle. The principle is unknown. So don't get into the inquiry. Why I'm giving all this is, don't sit and start inquiring into this word, these verses. These verses are not meant for inquiry. This is more of expression of bhakti, devotion. So he is having that inspiration. He is inspired. He is able to recognize what he is able to recognize and get inspired by the greatness of Krishna, of God, which is very different from seeking God. But they are not one and the same. Getting inspired from that, recognizing that and adoring that is one thing. It's quite another to put in effort, seek and become it. One thing is to admire Mercedes. Another thing is to say that I should own it. Seeking that is different. One thing is to admire FIFA World Cup. How many people are there admiring? Huge number. I was told, the picture posted by him has maximum comments. 21 million or something like that. One photograph. Unbelievable. And it's growing. It's not stopped. It's still growing. So many people can look, admire it and say, wow. I know many people who didn't even know there is FIFA match happened. Oh, Argentina won. You know that? I called them and say with such excitement. Apadiya? That's all it is. Is it? Oh. Then what happened? Then what you had for dinner? The worry is only that. What you made for breakfast, what you had for lunch, what you had for dinner. The worry is only that. Nobody bothers. That's much less actually. Even to recognize what it is to get that, Olympic gold medal. See, the excitement we get from one local cricket match vis-a-vis Olympic gold medal. Will be the talk of the town. You win one local match, local series. Olympic gold medal is to recognize that also you need perception. That's what I'm trying to explain. Even to recognize that, not easy. Same way, you say that someone has got a Nobel Prize. What it is to get a Nobel Prize. I'm not factoring the lobbying and all that, okay? That also. To win, to get something, recognizing that, and then appreciating that, adoring that, also possible. And most of us get satisfied at that level only. Hardly we move to the next step, saying, I also should reach there. Krishna is not showing his form, he is showing our form. That's all it is. That is your true nature. Right? Now, Arjuna is not able to reach to that point. See, there he buckles. He soars high, definitely. He soars very high. We are all like chicken flying. Arjuna is like a pigeon flying. Now, Upanishadic students are all like, eagle. Sometimes you can't even see that flying. They don't fly, you don't glide them. So high there, can't see that. Definitely, but he is not to that height. That's how this is the proof. Is a infinite strength, infinite that you complete all, you complete everything. Now, of course, all these words has a deep philosophic meaning. There's no doubt about it. It's not that the words has no meaning actually. You Sarvahasi. You are all. You are all means, what do you mean by you are all? You singular, all plural. He is equating singular to plural. Every. At least you are all following now. He says you are all. Here he says, if Brahman is one, how can that one and all implies is many, no? Plural, isn't it? Multiple things. Only then we can use the word all. All is more than one. But here we say, when there is only one Brahman, how can you use? Why is he saying all? You can do inquiry like this. I'm only giving you a lead. Like that, we can go into the inquiry of what is this infinite power? What is this infinite strength? What is this? You are complete. You complete all. You are the one who gives completion to everything. But we don't feel anything complete. Everything looks incomplete only. What is this? You can do that inquiry. But remember, these verses are not designed for inquiry purpose. I've told you, when you are reading Bhagavad Gita or any scripture for that matter, there are verses of different types. There are verses which are meant for explanation, designed for explanation. There are verses which are designed for contemplation, for you to take it up and think. It is designed for you to think. Right? Then there are verses which are meant for inspiration, explanation, contemplation, inspiration. Right? This verse is designed for more of inspiration rather than explanation or contemplation. Don't say, sir, adike half an hour you have taken. This is our special talent. One word answer, 15 page we write. Because we are all Vedantins, no? Vedantins, I will never say anything direct. Simpler, sir. Simpler sold to Pongala. We cannot do that. We have to, Jabu Mutai, they say. I have to stretch it. This 40 all is meant for that. Now you will see that, very explicitly in the next two verses. Now, what I'm saying, you will see that in the next two verses in a very explicit manner. Straight away, you can see that in those two verses, in fact, verse 41 and 42. Now, suddenly the fear transformed into bhakti. Okay. Now that bhakti is really that surrender, that devotion in Arjuna is mounting. Right. When he is mounted with all those things, suddenly something flashes in the mind of Arjuna, which is exclusive for Arjuna. This is only for Arjuna's personal one. This has got nothing to do with the rest of us. We have got nothing to do with these two verses, actually speaking, for all purpose. But then we understand one thing here. Yes. Suddenly Arjuna sees, flashes back in his life and realizes how in the past he related to Krishna. Suddenly that memory comes to him. And this 41 and 42 we do together because it's a continuous flow of thought. He's speaking in a rush, like sometimes we speak faster, when we keep talking. So here he's speaking in such a speed. So we have to read these two verses together. Only then we understand the total idea. 41 and 42.
सखेति मत्वा प्रसभं यदुक्तम् हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखेति अजानता महिमानं तवेदम् मया प्रमादात् प्रणयेन वापि यच्चावहासार्थमसत्कृतोऽसि विहारशय्यासनभोजनेषु एकोऽथवाप्यच्युत तत्समक्षम् तत्क्षामये त्वामहमप्रमेयम् सखेति मत्वा प्रसभं यदुक्तम् हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखेति अजानता महिमानं तवेदम् मया प्रमादात् प्रणयेन वापि यच्चावहासार्थमसत्कृतोऽसि विहारशय्यासनभोजनेषु एकोऽथवाप्यच्युत तत्समक्षम् तत्क्षामये त्वामहमप्रमेयम्.
Having regarded you as a friend, whatever was rashly said by me addressing you as O Krishna, O Yadava, O friend, not knowing your greatness and out of negligence, even love, in whatever way you have been insulted, O Achyuta, in jest, playing, repose, seated, or at meals, when alone or in company, I implore you, immeasurable, to forgive. Now, Bhaya. Fellow, you, without understanding this fellow, it's like without realizing the fellow who is speaking to is the inspector, local inspector. This fellow comedian, Vadivel, comedy is there. He speaks to him all sorts of things. And then the fellow reveals who he is. Fascinating comedy. Arjuna's condition has become like Vadivelu condition now. You, what all I have told you, what all I have done to you, how all I have treated you, you know, because that's the way you relate in the relationships. If they are talking casually, they'll be talking casually. Suddenly, he recognized the wisdom and the power of Krishna. Right? Narayana Sainya was given to Duryodhana, but Narayana standing here at the side of Pandavas. And he had never realized that. And suddenly, seeing all that, he recalls what all insults he has done to Krishna. All that he did as a joke, as a matter of joke, wherever he has made Krishna a laughing stock. All that suddenly he registers here and feels ashamed of himself. He realizes his action and he seeks forgiveness. See, this one concept become the central idea. This one idea became a central one in Christian faith. Repentance. Jokingly, I used to say, when you go and repent, what are you doing? We give all our sins to God. I said, yeah, correct. You give all your sins to God. Then to whom will you give all your punya? All the papa you give to him. Punya you keep, is it? Not cheating game, that is. Cheating, no. But then it's a fascinating concept, remember. It's not so casual. The idea is superb. It's a fine refinement. It's a mark of the sign of turning inward. First step. Remember, that's only a first step. That doesn't mean it's a final step. The first step of you turning inward, you have become introvert. Not in the social psychological sense, please. Not in the normal terms. And I use the word introvert. Introvert is the one who has turned away from the world and start seeking God. Not just seeing God and adoring Him and talking praises about Him. No, I start seeking Him. Now, Arjuna is proving the point that I am not just the one who is standing and adoring you, Krishna. I am taken the initial baby steps of me seeking you. What is the proof of seeking Him? This is the proof. The proof of seeking Him is to repent. This is the one big problem with most of us. When someone points out the mistakes that we do, the first reaction of everyone is to defend. We start defending. Defense. We never accept. The seeking forgiveness means you have accepted that you have made a mistake. Recognizing that you have committed something which is not appropriate and repenting for that is the first step towards seeking God. So don't say Arjuna is just standing as a person who is adoring God. He is also inspired to seek Him. And that's why he's saying this here. Otherwise, it looks suddenly why he is saying that here in this position. So see the sequence carefully here. Right, when we do the conclusion part, I'll try to give you. Right, but remember, as and when I'm giving, remember that. How this sequence, he is asking the form has come, he starts admiring it. In that, he sees something which is not palatable. When he sees something which is not palatable and fixates himself to that, he starts developing fear, and then he starts recollecting the knowledge that was given by Krishna with the knowledge that was pumped into Arjuna, and this fear mixes together, and there is a form which is bhakti. As an expression of that bhakti, what he feels is whatever I do to you is not enough. And is it just standing as just the knowledge of God, adoring Him and admiring Him? No, I am seeking you also. From my side, I have taken the baby steps. What is the baby step? I seek forgiveness from you for all that I have done in the past. See you in the next class.